Here we go. Postremus fuit omnium regum Tarquinus. So the Postremus, the last regum, king of all, fuit Tarquinus, was Tarquinus. To who the cognomen superbus, from his habits or his habitual character, was datum. He was given this superbus, which means proud or arrogant. Hic, he, avatum regnum, his grandfather's kingdom, which was being held by Servius, he preferred to rapere it than to wait. He decided to seize it. We have double ends here, so in misitque, this is a ablative absolute, with that. So he sent into him, or having already sent in these percussors, these assassins. He didn't egg it any better. He didn't conduct his power that he had, his kingdom he had, any better than the way he had acquired it. So he acquired it by a scalere, by a crime, and he didn't conduct his kingdom any better than the way he had acquired it. Necab horribat. Neither was she abhorrent or different from Uxor Talia. Talia, his wife, was not different in moribus, in her habits. She, which, or who, she, as she greeted, I'll take that as, or, as she greeted her virum regem, she greeted her husband as king. Super her cruentem patrum, over her blood-stained father, Vector. She was Vectoress. She was carried in a carpento, in a wagon. She forced on her consternados equos, her bothered horses or something like that, or maybe they were a bit afraid, and she spurred them on over the dead body of her cruentem father. Okay. Said ipsi, but himself, in with the accusative, towards the Senate with slaughters, in plebem, another in with the accusative, towards the plebs with beatings, and in omnis, that could be one of those dodgy sort of things like Virgil and Tacitus used, and basically towards all he was using with his proudness, his superbia, which crudela gravio est bonus. To good people, this is more gravi, or more seriously than just cruelty. And when his savidiam, when his savagery at home, domi, had fatigued or withered or whatever, tandem at last into the hostes, towards the enemies he conversed assessed. Okay. Grassatus usually means you're prowling about. Go up here with ipsi describing him. Sic valida, I'll have to go be towns. Us, the strong towns, captasunt, were captured in Latia. Don't know if you need that in there. Anyway, it's given a list of names: Ardia, Oraculum, Gabai, Susa, and Pomitia. Then, quoque also, he was cruentus, he was bloodthirsty in with the accusative in towards his own people, or his own family. Nequienem, for neither did he did he hesitate to beat his filium, his son, so that in the pretense, or by pretending, a simulation, pretending to be a transfuger, someone who flees, or deserter, amongst the hostis, Pud takes the accusative. So amongst the enemies, they would be fides, confident. Sometimes you might want confides in there. Cui, to him, guessing the son, at Gabis, some place, so that following what he wanted, or as what he wanted, it was received, and here we go, consulenti, present participle dative, going with that. So to him, when he received the consultation through messages, what he validated to veri, what he wanted to happen, by chance, eminent the highest heads of poppies, papaverum, he would strike them off, excudians with a virgula, which is a stick like a baculum, so that what he wanted to be understood was the interfacendos of the principles. So you've heard of tall poppies getting beaten down, it probably comes from this. He wanted the leading citizens, the ones who stood taller, to be killed, just in the way of the tallest poppies had their heads blown off. Qua or quasi, depending on which translation says or what sort of arrogance this was, thus responded nevertheless, or yet or still, or after all. Sometimes people translate Tarman in various ways. Might as well have a daily dictionary word. So here's grass or grassatus, which we saw. March on, advance, proceeding, roaming, prowling. I don't know if we'll see any other words to bring up. So there we go. Concerning the manubis, these are like the booty or the general's share of the captured cities. He erected a templum, which is neuter. Quad, neuter, which when he inaugurated this templum, the rest of the deists, the rest of the gods were ceding to this. Indictu mirare, you might say, marvellous of a thing to be said. Juventus, these are proper nouns of gods, and Terminus, two gods they resisted. They resisted ceding power, I'm guessing, because from sedentibus. Plaquit, it was decided it was pleasing to the Vedabus, so it was pleasing to the, sometimes you use bards, but this would be the seers here because it's a temple. This was pleasing to the seers, the contumacia, these insulting or actions of the numinums, of their deities. See quidem, take that as seeing those, or since it was promising, pollicabator, that everything would be firm and eternal. So looks like this was going to be a good temple. Looks like it's going to be strong in all ways and eternal. Sed illud horrendum. Looks like something horrendous. To the molentibus, to those people building, we'll take it as a moment, to building this temple. In the fundamentals, when you're building a building, the fundamentals are like the foundation. Repertum est a humanum head. They found a human head in the foundations when they were building it. Neither did cuncti duba vere, neither were all doubting. This was a very beautiful monstrum, omen. Promising this would be the seat of the empire and the head of lands. Okay, that does look like a good omen. Tam duioi. For so long, the Romanus people, perpessus, they suffered the superbium, the arrogance of their king. Donac, until, or might be as long as libido was aberrat, comes from absum. As long as lust wasn't concerned or was away or was not found. Hank, from one of his libris, from one of his children, they were not able to tolerate this importunum. So something evil happened that they didn't like and they weren't able to take it. And we'll have to read on nearly at the end of chapter 1 here. Quorum, of which, this will be the son, when one of them, into licit, brought in stuprum, it's a sexual sin type of thing, to a dative, an ornatissima femina Lucretia, so she's very high in society, very high-powered woman or whatever, with a good family. The matrona, again, married woman, matrona, she expiated this neuter, accusative, the dishonour, the didecus with Pharaoh. She stabbed herself to death. And the imperium abrogatum, power to kings was abrogated, you might want to say. 2. Haec est prima aetas. This is the first age of the Roman people, quasi, as if its infancy, which it had under septem regibus, under 7 kings. Quadam, with a certain industry of fate or purposeness of fate, it had so various ingenium, in natures, there were various natures, as the ratio and utilitas, so it's the reasoning and advantages or whatever demanded from the Republic of the Republic. Okay. Nam quid Romulo ardentius. For what was more ardentius, more burning or driven than Romulus? Opus it was needed. Talai is such a thing was needed, or you might say, so that he could take the kingdom. The regnum's the kingdom. Invader, it just means taking here. What was more religious? You might want to say who. Who was more religious than Numa? A little bit to go. Iter res poposcit, thus as the matter demanded, so that a ferox people, wild people, could be mitigated by fear of the gods, metu diorum. Quid illi was he, artifex talis, we've got three of these nominatives here. So artifex talis, so he's an artist of the military, he's a creator of the armies, how necessary he was to bellatorius virus, to men who were warlike, so that he could accurate, you might want to say he could sharpen their virtue with reasoning, add to it. What an edificator, what a builder Ancus was, as he extended the city with a colony, and he joined it with a ponte, with a bridge, and he turator, he guarded over it with a wall, or added a wall. Iam viro, but now, or truly now, the ornaments and insignia of Tarquinius, the genitive, how much quantum they added, what they add, dignitatem, they added dignity to the people from the habitu, this is like the clothing and gear himself of their principal. That's probably dative actually. Anyway, that but should really be interpreted how you like, but anyway, yam means now at this time. Yeah, sometimes I'll just use vero like autumn and say moreover. Anyway, the census actus done by Servius, what did it affect? What did it bring about? Nisi accept that the Romana Republic should know itself, ipso se. Post stremo, so finally, what have we got? The importune domination, the unhelpful or disastrous or foul sort of domination of Superbus himself, non nil something, or more precisely, plurum a lot, it profuit, it helped. Okay, profuit usually comes from prosum. Sic enim. For thus effectum est, it was brought about, when there's no topic, you just use a neuter, so that the populace, the people, were agitated by these injustices. They became burning with a desire, a cupidate of freedom, libertatis. And that's it for the day.